Hey everyone, it's Anne Manera, and we are here again today with another color along from Color Along Volume 18 Variety Coloring Book. So today's color along is probably one of my favorites, Grayscale with colored pencils. And this morning I'm going to be using Schpirrer Farben Colored Pencils. This is a 96 set of colored pencils, and all of the products that I use for color alongs can be found in my Amazon influencer shop. And if you shop that link, which is provided in the description of this video, I do earn a small commission from all of the sales from the link of my Amazon influencer shop. But there's also a list, so you'll be able to see all of the products that I'm using for all of the color alongs, and other products too that I recommend and that are my all-time faves. So today's color along is all about Grayscale. Now, this page can also be found in my Grayscale coloring book called Simple Beauty. And again, you'll see the link to the book in the description. So what I want to talk about first is coloring Grayscale. So if you've never colored Grayscale before, let's talk about a couple of key components or key things to remember about coloring Grayscale. The first thing you want to remember is that you can easily color a Grayscale coloring page using the same pressure on the entire page, because what you really want to follow are the lights and the darks that are throughout the page, and that will bring through where those shades are. So for example, when we take a look at this brick wall right here, that's kind of an inset, it's like an inset, it's like further back than the rest of the wall. You'll see here that this is light. Now, if something is very, very white, sometimes you can leave it uncolored. For example, this little bag that's on the back of the bike, we may leave that uncolored. But when you get to this portion here, coloring the same area is going to make it look like different shades as we color. So for example, if we color this part here with the same color as this part, it's going to look different just because of the grays. Light pressure is always the best, and then you can kind of accent later on with some black. It brings the eye to knowing where the shadowing and the shades and the shadows are. Now, I like Grayscale as a great teaching tool so that you can actually kind of learn ahead of time, where do I apply the darks and the lights? Where do the darks and the lights actually fall in a coloring page and when you're working on a line art page? So that's one of the best parts about it. These Schpirrer Farben pencils are great for Grayscale. I mean, they're great for anything else too, but I really, really like them for Grayscale. So I'm going to actually go with this ruby brown color. And I'm just going to give this a quick sharpen, and just also want to remind you that if you could just give this video a thumbs up and hit that notifications button so that you can get notified every time I post a new video, and subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome. It really helps so I can continue producing different videos for you. So this pencil is Ruby Brown, number 650. Just going to give it a quick sharpen. And I'm going to go with the bricks. And you can see the color right there. It's kind of a burgundy-ish. But I'm going to go with these bricks. So the other part that we want to know about Grayscale too is to color each section individually. Now, kind of seems a little crazy, right? But it really does make a difference. So it's kind of that attention to detail. And as you're moving along, you may think, wow, this really isn't looking that great, right? But you'll surprise yourself with what happens. So let me know in the comments below. Are you a Grayscale colorist? Is this something new to you? Are you hooked on Grayscale coloring? So this part here, just this, notice I'm doing the same pressure. I want the gray to shine through. I don't want this to be very opaque. I want it to be a little translucent. I want it to actually pop through. Here's another brick there. I mean, I can't stop thinking of Pink Floyd's Brick in the Wall, right? I mean, come on, we're singing it in your head. Here's another kind of brick that's shining through on this part and on this portion here. And I'm going to continue on the whole wall with this color, with this ruby brown. Doesn't look very brown to me, but that's the name. I'd like to be the person that names the colors, you know? It's like naming the colors of everything. I have a friend that has a farm, and every time her one of the animals has babies, she always sends me a note, a message, and says to me, okay, I'm looking for names. And I always have this like ongoing list of animal names. I don't know why. Do you have animal names? I have this like ongoing list of like puppy names that I just kind of keep. I don't really think I'll ever have as many dogs to fill all of the names that I have, but it's fun to keep a list. All right, so we've got this portion here. Right? Here's a little bit of that ruby again. Now just let's take another look here. Are there any more bricks that I might have, maybe right here and even in here, right? I think that's all I've gotten. Now this portion here looks like it's some brown peeking through. It's sneaking and it's peeking, I guess, right? So I'm gonna start out with this yellow color, which is called Hot Sun. And what I'm really looking for is a brown. This is the one I'm looking for, actually. This one is called Honey Brown. This is not brown, that is pink. So what I'm going to do is kind of blend this, right? So, and I don't want that crazy point right there, so I'm just going to kind of blend. Now I'm coloring in this direction. Other key thing to remember about grayscale. Color in the direction of the object. So for example, if it's a vertical object, color vertically. If it's horizontal, color horizontally. If it's round, say you're coloring like a bowl, color it in a round, circular, or in the shape, in the direction of the actual bowl. So now I'm adding this yellow on top of it. And then I am going to take a look. Do we have any other pieces of wood at all that are shining through? I don't see it. What color should our bicycle be? I'm thinking it should be like a blue. Let's color this with blue. So this one is called Santorini Dreams. Ooh, fancy. Fancy name. Now, if you notice the metal on this bicycle, one side of it is darker than the other. Now, that's the shading, that's the shadowing, the grayscale of it all. And I'm using the same pressure. And by using that same pressure, it will already kind of appear that it is lighter on one side and darker on the other, you know? So that is the beauty of grayscale. I mean, that's one of the beauties. There's other beauties too, I guess. Here's another piece of the blue that comes down. We're going to make this blue. This blue. We're going to leave the spokes the way they are because I want them to look like they're silver. And then I'm going to go with the handlebars as being this blue color. And then the seat, I don't know. I mean, the seat could be black. We don't know. This one is called Mold. What a color, huh? It's okay if it's called Mold. Let's see what it looks like. It looks like a gray. Now, pretty crazy that I'm going to use gray on grayscale, right? However, watch what happens here. Is I'm using kind of this mold color on top of this grayscale. And mold, this color mold is almost got like a greenish tint to it. And it's really perfect for what is here. What I'm going to do also is I'm going to go back in to this area that I'm coloring. And I am going to accent it with a black. See where all that, those darker areas are? I'm going to go back in and pull that out by actually adding a darker color there. And that will really make it pop. So again, I'm just coloring this whole area and staying in the same direction as the whole thing. So this piece looks like it kind of comes down vertically, but then it goes back to horizontal, and I'm going over those grays in between the bricks because this is like the mortar, right? The cement that's in the in-betweens. And see those gray areas right there, those darker areas? Again, we're going to kind of make those pop with another color. Now I'm going to do this section here, but I'm not going to go over that blue area that I colored for the bike. I'm going to go in between the spokes because I want those spokes to kind of stick out so that they remain white. You could go back, I guess, and you could even add some white on those, but I'm leaving those uncolored. So I'm trying to stay in between the spokes. And you can already kind of see that it's getting a little bit darker and a little bit lighter just based on where I'm placing the color throughout the entire page. Okay, so this is this whole section here, and again I'm going to do this down here just to kind of get the color in. Again here, right over the whole thing. I mean, it's a super simple way of coloring for to achieve one incredible results. Just gonna give it a quick tapping. Just kind of want to get in between here with my point of my pencil. Make sure I've gotten all into this area here, into this area, and all into here. Now there's those petals, right? So we're going to go on top. So the other thing is, think about what's behind and what's in front. So what's behind the bike, what's in front of the bike? I hope that makes sense. Make sure there's nothing behind here. Seems like something was shining through there, or I was pressing on something. So we're going to go around this area here. And again, I'm going to color all of this area. Now, it's kind of crazy, right? It still looks a little gray, but wait till you'll see what's going to happen. I feel like I should have, like, you know, suspense music playing. Just going to give this another quick sharpen. Between the spokes. Now, sometimes a bicycle has gray tires, or sometimes it has different colored tires. So I don't know, what color do you think we should make the tire? Okay, so we're working on the bike, thinking about the tires, getting this area here that is still this mold color. Now, I don't know, maybe they should be yellow. What do you think? The tires could be a yellow color. All right, so let's add something else onto the mold color. First of all, we need black, so let's give this a quick sharpen. And I really think I'm going to make my tires yellow. This one is called Bumblebee. Got to make it a kind of a fancy bike, right? And I'm just making the tire this color. I want to have that black with that nice point, because we've got this part here that we want to kind of accent, right? So you want to kind of add some accents to what you have done already. I'm getting ahead of myself with the accents. Sometimes when I'm coloring something, I just can't wait to see the finished product. How about you? Okay, let's see. We've got the petals. Now for the petals, we've got that mold color that we used, right? So I want to use something that is going to make them kind of pop out a little bit. And I've got this French blue color that'll kind of accent what's happening here with these petals, you know? Let's just give it a little bit of a French blue color. Now we've got kind of like the whole mechanism here added to that. This is almost like a silver, you know? Add a little bit on top of here. Again, we talked about this portion here. I'm going to leave that white. I'm going to leave the bag white. All right. Now, let's go back in now with this black. So I just want to kind of accentuate what is dark. Not really color it, but just kind of, you know, pop some color in there. Does that make sense? Pop the color in versus coloring the whole thing. So I'm just kind of adding some black to the areas that are the darkest. So here's a little bit right here. And then maybe there's just a little bit of a line that's there. You know? And a little bit here, here, and here. So it's going to make the rest of what we've colored really pop out. Now the other part too is we want to make this section here with this brick wall look like it is actually inside, like an inset. So let's get this black line up there. We don't want to color the whole thing black, but we do in fact want to make it look like it is an unfinished line. So when I talk about that, it's like making a square, but also kind of the unfinished line. The unfinished line can speak volumes. Maybe that should be a quote, you know? All right, so here is just these black lines here. And now I'm kind of just continuing down with all of this. And if you really kind of say, okay, let's take a better look at it and a little further up, what do you see? You know, so here's an unfinished line too. Going to kind of go with the corner and then off, kind of flick it off. So that your line becomes, rather than this, it becomes this. So it tails off. I guess that's the word. Is that the word I'm looking for? Tail off. Here's another crack we can kind of pop in there. All right, so here's all the rest of this. Now I am going to add a little bit of black here underneath that, and I'm going to just give this a better point so that we have a nice sharp point just to kind of accentuate this black line that's going around the bike tire, okay? Because we want to make sure that that is black. We want to make sure that maybe this is kind of like a little area here, and again here on this tire. So I'm just kind of working my way around, hitting different areas with the black. And some of them I'm not really coloring as much as I'm just kind of, you know, adding a little bit of a line. Again, here's that other section here that we kind of want to be like an unfinished line. Now, we kind of weave this so that it's inset into there. Give this a little bit of black up here. So it's like less is more, you know. You don't want it to be completely colored black. The other thing is that look how the lights and the darks on this section here are really just kind of shining through, you know. So that part is really important because you want the lights and the darks to shine through. You want to be able to see that this is actually a grayscale coloring page. You don't want your finished product to look like a typical line art coloring page. It's a totally different form of coloring. So you want people to say, wow, that's a great grayscale coloring page, versus having them say, wow, great job on that coloring page, and I can tell that that is a line art page. I hope that makes sense. You know your job is done, or you've achieved what you set out to achieve by actually having it look like a grayscale page. I'm going to add a little bit of a line here just to kind of say this is the wall, this is the ground. So we kind of like want to know where that ends, where that begins. And don't forget, we already colored all of this area with that mold color, right? So we just kind of want to add a little bit of something to this, you know. Kind of going back. Here's all those little like cracks in the wall. Nice simple grayscale coloring page. All about the texture that you see at the back, texture that you see in the wall, all those little nooks and crannies. Now, we could go back in and maybe add some highlights, but I don't really feel like it's necessary. I just kind of feel like this is is doing its job on its own here. And I'm happy with how it looks so far. So I just want to be able to accentuate what is really dark. I'm going to go back in to this area between our spokes and add just a tiny bit, a taste of black on those blacker areas. Here's like the shadow of that. And notice I am staying between the spokes once again. So I don't want to color on top of those spokes because I want them to remain white. And you can kind of see it already happening in this area, how it's remaining white. Now here's the chain. We want that to kind of be like behind. Don't forget, the chain is not on this side of the bike, but on the other side of the bike. So we want it to kind of come from there. And then here it is again. And here it is again. So it's behind all of these things. And think of a chain. It's kind of like dashed lines in a way, right? So, you know when you're fixing the chain on your bike. Here's another kind of like piece of metal that's holding all of this together, holding that this thing up. And then we've got the seat. Now for the seat, I want to just kind of add some black in the areas that are the blackest and kind of keep the underside of that seat uncolored because I want to kind of keep that colored. I want to make it look like it's the underside, which is really kind of giving a lot of light. And this is just about finished. So if you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up. Hit that notification button so that you can get notified every time I post a new video, and subscribe to my channel. That would really help. Tell your friends. That's another way you can spread the word about my YouTube channel. So all color alongs are always free to watch here on my YouTube channel. And if you are interested in coloring coloring the page that I'm coloring each time, you can purchase the color along book, which is available on Amazon or on my website as a PDF book. And all of the links to everything that I'm using today, the color along book, the book that this page is actually in, because all the color along books are a variety of all of my other books. They can all be found in the description of this video. Any of the products that I'm using during any color along can also be found in my Amazon influencer shop. And if you make a purchase using one of those links, I do make a small percentage. But there you can also find a list of all of the products I'm using for this particular volume of the color along book. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope that that you will share your Grayscale page that you have colored with the rest of the coloring community. You can take a look at the Facebook coloring group over on Facebook called Just Color with Anne Manera. If you're on Instagram too, all you have to do is just hashtag me, hashtag Anne Manera, and I'll be able to see it. I can't wait to see your finished page. Share with the group, and let me know what you think about this this color along. Hope to see you next time, and have a great day. Thanks so much for watching, everyone.